told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match. I'm Aysha, one of your co-hosts here to talk about Married at First Sight, season 17, episode 9. If you could believe it or not, we are already at episode 9, which means we're about mid-season, kind of, sort of, almost. And of course, I'm here with one of my best podcast friends, Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
I don't know who Jason Reed is. Timmy here, ready to catch a wave with you, talking about Married at First Sight. Not sure who this guy you're referring to is. That's not me, because I'm Timmy. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa, who was that guy just now? Crazy.
Did
I
you
just blacked out.
blackout?
Yeah, I blacked out for a minute. I don't know who that was.
You just woke up and you were on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just here, like live on the podcast. I don't know how that happened.
Oh my god,
man.
Oh,
So listen,
gosh.
first of all, hello Asia, hello audience. I know you're all disappointed that we did not show up wearing wigs. We talked pre-show about getting wigs. We both, dropped the ball on that one. And our apologies from us to you.
Yeah. Yes, please accept.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what an episode we got here. I was a little nervous knowing that now we only have 3 couples truly to follow, but still they were able to get some content from these 3.
I feel like two of them knocked out of the park. One of the other ones was like, you could have sent me email about what this was and it would have been fun.
Okay.
First of all, okay, my first gripe about this episode. Do you remember when we used to throw good theme parties? Used to be costumes, used to be everything. Now a wig is the top of what we get for a theme party. One of these other losers just said, "Oh, we got a cheese board. That's our theme." That's a theme? Come on.
Anything but a cup.
Use some imagination, please.
I've heard of like the anything but a cup theme before. And I think it's fun when it's like a big group of people because you have a large variety. But when you have about 4 people in your home, it's just like, oh, hey.
And 2 of them bring the same thing?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get into it. We have some housewarming parties to discuss here. But if you haven't already, make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of our podcasts about Married at First Sight. Also on there is Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, The Show, Perfect Match, all over there on the Love at First Sight feed, wherever you get your podcasts. Also subscribe to the RHAP Has a Podcast YouTube channel because we are there on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review over on wherever you get your podcasts, mainly Apple Podcasts, but we can get some ratings over on Spotify. But you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Let us know how you're enjoying the content. We will be grateful. This is our 2nd week in a row without a new review.
Y'all, the cupboard is bare. What's going on? Y'all don't love us anymore? What's up? Hey, come on now.
They said, y'all get it. Yeah. Y'all know we're here listening.
Yeah, you've got enough, don't you?
You're right.
You got enough accolades.
Right. So yes. So definitely make sure you go leave us a 5-star review and rating just so we know that you are enjoying this. We are having a lot of fun over on our Facebook group, talking about the episodes, giving our thoughts. Make sure you come join us. Look us up at A Perfect Match Podcast on Facebook. And this week, the password is...
Like, why are you here? Why are you here? Man, the vocal fry was frying. I felt like I was in a pan of a vocal. That's how much vocal fry there was. Woo!
She was a hoot because she was consistent. It wasn't like
Yes,
she was putting on like this is how she sounds
this is
100%
how
of
she
the
sounds.
time.
Yes.
So yes, why are you here? Make sure you put that password and not your like Facebook password. We don't want to see Facebook password. Just make sure you're putting this is the password just to join the group. You're not, you're not logging in.
I mean, but if you do want to leave me like your social security number or like your password to all your other stuff, I'll take it. I mean,
Please do not give that to him.
I got the passwords. I can do some stuff with that.
Don't give it to him, guys.
No, dude.
As if I need to say.
Me.
So yeah, let's dive in. Let's talk about this episode. Let's go ahead and knock out a couple that is no longer a couple, unfortunately.
Man.
Or fortunately. Fortunately for Lauren.
For Lauren, for sure.
Okay.
Fortunately.
So we got Lauren Orion here. One week we spent an hour and a half. The next week we spent a few minutes. Give or take.
Why was it? I mean, listen, I felt like I got enough juice out of the squeeze for Lauren's segment just from her sister-in-law, which really came through. But I need to see any of Orion. I was just mad.
I know it really was like a okay. We have to get through this. I would have preferred them do the meeting with the other couples, break the news this episode. Like, why are we dragging it out?
Because we only had 3 couples left.
Right. They're like little by little.
Yeah.
Next week is meeting with the couples. Then the next week is them, grabbing their belongings, saying what they learned.
Then the week after that, each one of them gets a debrief from one of the experts. Like, so right. I just wanted to check in and see how you're feeling a week after you broke up your marriage.
It's been a week since my divorce. I still am unsure what's happening here.
The week after that, Orion and Lauren meet up again to kind of go over things 3 weeks after they broke up. Mm-hmm. We can stretch this until the end of the season. We can do it.
They're about to be on the whole season.
They come to visit the retreat one at a time, not together, but one at a time. They visit like the people at the retreat. Like,
I was in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they find a way to put them in decision day. You're like, are y'all sure?
We just want to revisit this to see if there's any way that y'all could pick things back up.
And then Orion, I have decided that I want to come back around and follow through with my commitment in going through with the divorce.
Are you sure this
is ridiculous? It's ridiculous. Oh, give Lauren a redo. Give Lauren a redo.
I mean, we keep asking for MAFS second chances. It has to come at some point. I think to revitalize the show, like Survivor does, where they, things are lagging a little bit. Let's get an all-star season. Let's get a returnee season. We need that in the Married at First Sight.
I could give you a whole lineup of women I would not mind watching find love.
And like 2 men.
I'm like off top. We got Alexis, Stasha, even Mirla. I would love to see her find love. Lauren.
Kate of Luke and Kate.
Kate of Luke and Kate. Kristen.
Well, Paige got a
Paige
whole
is engaged.
Paige got a whole ass baby brewing in her belly at this right now. So maybe the time has passed for Paige.
Right. Yeah, Kristen from San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
We got some people. There's an opportunity there. If they want to stop cranking out these seasons of Married at First Sight back to back to back to back, give us a spinoff. Whatever happened to Unmatchables?
Now, don't go asking for stuff you don't want to get, okay? That was a mess. That was awful.
They said one and done. We are never doing that again.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. Well, when Dr. Pepper was like, a what? No, I'm not doing that. That was the first sign of trouble.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So yes, Lauren and Orion. Here I say a few minutes and then we go on and on
one
about
of our
nothing.
famous tangents.
So we get each of them meeting with their people. So Orion meets with Dom, his bestie
Dominic's
for the
back.
restie.
Yeah.
Jason's favorite friend of Orion's.
Yeah.
And then Lauren meets with her brother and her sister-in-law. So when Orion meets with Dom, he's like, now that he's divorced, it feels strange. He told her it'd be unfair for him to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And he did tell his mom and his sister, and they were more so disappointed that he didn't get what he wanted out of the process. And Dom goes, "A marriage? Like what? Why you say it like that? Don't you mean a marriage?"
Thank you, Dominic. Please keep up. Keep up with what this is.
No, because the way he phrased it, it was like that. The text he sent her where, "Oh, I want to get divorced, but I want to go through with the process."
A marriage or a place to live for 2 months away from your mom? What are you talking about?
I'm like, come on.
I also wonder, what exactly did Orion tell his family about this? I'm curious.
He painted that picture.
I'm sure he
wrong.
did. Like, she yelled racial slurs at me for an hour straight. Like, what was that conversation like? One thing I want to hear at the reunion is either his mom or his sister come on. I mean, we never heard the mom talk, the whole pre-wedding and wedding. So I want to hear what she thinks happened, what she heard from Orion, because I'm very interested to see what that conversation was like.
Right. It's as if he was going to paint this picture that's behind me on my right of pepper and cinnamon. But then when he finished painting it, it was blue and bingo. He like 2 dogs. It's like completely different.
That's accurate,
picture.
Right? It's in the neighborhood. They're dogs.
Yeah. I didn't have the right colors. Oh my gosh. So Dom's like, "Look, okay, are you open to meeting anyone else now?" And Orion's like, "Well, not right now. I just had a lot of genuine feelings for Lauren. And so, not right now."
Listen, the man had not had sexual relations in a year and a half, and he still wasn't ready for a relationship. So you're not anywhere close to ready to being with anyone else, sir. So you still need to do a lot of work on yourself before you even think of being in another relationship. So I'm glad he realizes that, at least, that he's like, no, actually, I'll take that back, because he's like, well, I had genuine feelings for Lauren. No, you didn't.
Exactly.
Stop
That's what I was about to say. Don't try to
Stop.
blame it on your genuine quote unquote feelings for Lauren when you called it off.
Get out of here, man.
Keep it. We're very unbiased over here.
Bring the temperature down. Talk about Orion.
Keep it.
Yeah.
So Lauren's with her brother and sister-in-law. Her hair looks amazing.
Okay.
Did it look amazing to you?
I honestly cannot even picture it in my mind right now.
It was straight. It was like middle part.
I believe you.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure it looked fantastic.
Remember, she had the braids on the honeymoon.
Yes.
And this time it looked different.
Well, she changed it right after, right? What was her hair like last episode?
I don't remember last episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't leave a lasting impression on me, but it did for you. So
well, this episode did. It was so her hair looked great. And so she says she's been better. They're asking her how she's doing, and she says, look, she supports him in his decision, and her sister-in-law is like, but how do you feel? She's like, I've been through every emotion at this point: humor, anger, sadness, back to anger. And so she realized, like, she was going through all these emotions. Like, anger is such a surface level feeling that she just like, I need to just sit in these emotions. And so right now she feels a lot of pain and resentment. And she said it sucks because she didn't have a partner who was like, look, because she was like, we can work it out. And she wishes she had a partner who also felt that way. And look, her brother was like, effort is a two-way street. Yes, exactly. Because she could have wanted this all she wanted, which she did. Mm-hmm. And if he's not going to try, it's not worth it. But then with him saying like, oh, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, that's such a... Why do you have 1 foot out?
He had a pinky toe in. That's as far as his foot got in.
Literally. It's like, I can't come in. That foot right there won't drag itself
Just
in. I
won't budge.
can't.
I think I got super glue on the bottom of my shoe. Can't
Right.
come in.
He's like, commitment. What is that?
With this, you had to be both feet in before the wedding. Like that's how this is
Yes.
going to work. You can't even start straddling the line. You have to
And
be all in before you even meet your spouse.
according to him, you got to be both feet in when you sign the application to get on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. When you see the advertisement, that's where your feet need to be in before you even
When your
think about
thought
clicking on
starts
kinetic.
to form in your
Yeah.
head.
That's where you need to be both feet in.
Right. And so her sister-in-law was like, look, you can't control how other people perceive you. If there's not forgiveness and willingness in a marriage, it's not going to work. At the end of the day, you are still a bad bee. Let him know it's him. She's like, make sure you let him know it's him. It's not you, it's him. And hopefully that's the last time you see his beep, 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 beep.
She said, you still a bad bee. You got money. You stay fly. You go on trips. Let him know that it's him. And hopefully this is the last time we see his ass. I said, okay. I say, bravo.
Like, gas her up.
Yes, do it. I was happy to see Lauren laugh at that point because she was so somber the whole thing. But that part really got her. So I was happy to see Lauren happy and laughing for that. And then we get the next week. This is the meeting with the couples where they tell them, guys, we made the mutual decision. No. You made the decision. I hope that I think that's what's going to happen. Like he's going to be like, we made the mutual. I'm like, no. Tell the truth, MFer. You made the decision to get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's still taking a toll on her. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Because even like, well, no, I was thinking after party, but no, that was that was Claire. But with them, it's the emotions are still there. You know,
Mhm.
it's so fresh, and she still is feeling a lot of the pain and resentment that she just talked about. So I don't know how next week is going to go, because you know the girls have her back. I don't think the guys equally have his back. You know, but these guys, I don't.
But I mean, she breaks down sobbing in the middle of the floor next episode.
Yeah. Right.
So that's rough.
We might have, we'll probably have just another scene. I couldn't imagine much more than that. Because it seems like them meeting in front of the couples is probably their first time getting back together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. That's why you call him Onion. He stinks and makes people cry.
Do you eat onions?
Aysha, come on. No, I don't eat onions. What kind of question is that?
I don't mean bite into them like an apple, but if you were gonna say,
no,
I was gonna make some tacos, right? Ground beef.
Who eats? I don't eat tacos. I'm not eating tacos.
It's just ground beef.
I don't like all my stuff mixed up together. Okay, I like it all separate.
I just can't. I can't. We've learned something today, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Okay, so I was gonna say that's a wrap, but it's not, because we see them next week, right? So, but we're still not rating them.
No.
So
why would we rate them?
1 to 5, they'll be friends.
You're just stuck in your routine. Like you're just like,
I'm on autopilot.
We talked about them, so we have to rate them. No,
right. It doesn't feel right. How do we move on without rating them?
Sorry, you can't put in your little spreadsheet of the history of our ratings.
I know. What am I supposed to do on this end?
It's eating you up inside.
Right. Okay, which couple do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about Becca and Austin. Let's talk about what these crazy kids are up to this week. Spoiler alert, it's really more of the same. So, of course, everyone's getting ready for their little themed parties. But we do open with them in bed, and there's the smoopiness with these two. There's banter about breakfast in bed. There's kissing. There's booping. I mean, this is what we got, folks. This is the only couple that's showing any type of real affection in this whole show at this point. So
yeah,
you better get your kisses and your cuteness while you can.
That's a lot too, because we at least have like we'll have one couple that's consummated, and then at least one other that's at least kissing.
Yeah, at least willing to be close to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we then come to them at a lunch for her 32nd birthday. In a confessional, she says she can't believe she's 32 and married because she was just 31 and she spent that whole year single. Becca tells her, because all her friends are there, Austin's there. She tells her friends that, he's so good at communicating. They're having these deep conversations and they're on the same page with everything except for religion. And it's not really an obstacle that either of them anticipated that they were going to have to work through. And Austin explains how, the meeting with Pastor Cal kind of opened their eyes up a little bit about the religion thing. So it's getting a little better. She says that, if the religion is the one thing we have to get through, we should feel lucky. I said, I don't know about that. I still feel like this is a big thing. Like it's.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to, like, you can't just put it on, like, let's put a pin in it until we have children. No. I feel like y'all need to be on the same page now before y'all even get to that step and you're tied to someone forever with child. So yeah, it is a big issue. I think that they are maybe not downplaying it, because I don't think he is necessarily, like, I think his actions are showing that it is an issue for him.
Yeah, I think it's part of the apprehension that he's feeling in terms of everything. Speaking of that, one of the friends says, so not to be too forward, but what's going on with the sex? Are you guys getting it in on the reg? I said, what in the Pastor Cal is this?
Right, you got
she rips her mask off. She rips her mask off and it's Pastor Cal. You get it on yet or what? It's been a whole day.
You're like, wait a minute, I know that voice.
Yeah. She takes off her glasses like Pastor Cal does.
Oh my God. I actually have my glasses in here today.
I tell y'all one thing. Marriage ain't for punks. Wait a minute. I've heard that somewhere before. Pastor Cal? Are you wearing whiteface, Pastor Cal? What are you doing? He just gets up and runs out of the restaurant. I've been caught. Oh, man.
But this is definitely a question you ask your friend when, like, he's not there.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I was like, I don't think that would be ever be a group conversation.
But Austin, ever the trooper, answers, says, well, I'm the one holding things up at the moment. And Becca insists that she's okay with it. That typically, typically it wouldn't take this long, but typically it wouldn't take 15 days to get jump in the sack. But this is a long time. And then I'm assuming because the producers told Austin to get lost so that Becca can talk to her friends, he gets up and leaves as soon as his food gets there. Did you hear, like, the friends like, oh, he has to leave as soon as his food gets here? I'll be like, can I at least, like, grab my food and take it somewhere else? Like, no, get out of the
Didn't he say he was gonna grab a drink?
Well, yeah, that was the excuse he used.
And listen, in what world are you getting up from your table at a restaurant to go grab a drink?
Where are you, a cidery? I mean, come on.
He should have just said he was going to the bathroom or something.
But what excuse can you use that you're going to be gone for that long where they can have a whole, like, 10 to 15 minute conversation? They just come back from the bathroom like, I had diarrhea. That's why I was there for so long.
He could have said there was a line.
A line for the men's bathroom? Never.
Hey, have you heard of Buc-ee's?
I have heard of Buc-ee's. It's a big thing, like, in the South, right?
Yes. So it's more than a gas station. It's an experience. And
experience.
Look, it's just a wonderland. Every time I pass by Buc-ee's, you got to stop. You got to get, either like a brisket sandwich or some beef jerky, or they just have so much stuff. Candy, they have candy galore, all Buc-ee's branded stuff. They have Buc-ee, like, clothes. They have so much stuff. Anyway.
So a gas station.
What?
So a gas station, basically.
No, it's huge, though. It's huge. It's like the size of, like, I don't know what you would know. Maybe like, okay, like a Dollar General.
Yes.
It's bigger than that.
I'm aware of that brand. I'm aware of that store.
Okay.
Yes.
It's bigger than that.
I understood that reference.
It's like not as big as like a Walmart, but bigger than a Dollar General.
Okay.
So-
That really narrows it down for me.
It gives you a range. But at Buc-ee's the other day when I went through, there was a line for the men's bathroom. I was shocked.
I do feel like Buc-ee's, the way you described it, is like a men's place. Like there wouldn't be a line for the women's room, there'd be a line for the men's room.
No, it's a family stop. Oh, and the number one thing about Buc-ee's is that they have the cleanest bathrooms. Like, like I will hold it until if Buc-ee's is in another 30 minutes, so I can use the restroom at Buc-ee's because it's so clean and they have so many. Like at least like the women's side has at least 50 stalls. Like that's how big it is. Yeah, I know. I can't. I could go on and on, but we have other stuff.
You have. You have.
If y'all out there have ever contemplated going to a Buc-ee's, go.
Didn't our podfather Rob Nino gush about Buc-ee's recently?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
So it's in the air, guys. Get to Buc-ee's soon. I'm gonna make a trip just for that.
And when you taste that chopped brisket sandwich, let me know what you think.
I get you assume that I would eat something that was a chopped brisket sandwich, but okay.
It's bread and meat. It doesn't even have toppings.
I think about it then.
Okay, it has like barbecue sauce, like the brisket is sauce.
Yeah, you're starting to go the other way now.
I lost you.
You lost me.
They used to come with pickles and onions on them. Like you could have the option, but then they stopped. I don't know what happened.
No way. Back to the show Married at First Sight.
I thought this was Buc-ee's at First Sight.
It's not the Buc-ee's cast. So yes, Austin takes his leave to get a drink. And so her friends basically gushed her. She's like, he seems so great. We love him. It's like, he seems good enough to let the whole Jesus thing go, right? Like, it's not a big deal.
Literally, y'all, that's what they said.
The whole Jesus thing.
Right.
One of her friends says, so is it love yet? Becca says, no, not yet. We're not dropping the I love yous. The woman that is Pastor Cal's like, damn it. Until I told y'all.
Pastor Cal in disguise.
Yeah. So the friends asked, so how do you really feel about the sex thing? She says, well, at first I thought that he wasn't attracted to me, but then I realized he just needs a little bit more time. These men, what is with these men and not wanting to, do the thing? It's kind of like the opposite of what we usually get.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think this religion thing is a big issue for him because it's showing. I don't think this was the same Austin that we saw through the honeymoon. I thought that Austin was like almost there, right? And now that they're back home and they've had this conversation, now he seems on the fence. And then obviously we see that with Brennan where he's just like, he has issues with the romance or whatever. And so
do that again.
I don't even know what I did.
The romance or whatever.
We'll never know. We'll never see.
Yeah, we'll never know. It's like it's recorded.
Right. Yeah, so it does feel like these guys are just showing why they're still single.
For sure. Yeah, it's a lot of the maturity stuff, I think, with a lot of these guys are holding them back, I think.
Yeah.
So we get the Becca and Austin party underway. The theme is charcuterie board, I guess. Austin's friend Derek arrives. He's got a plant and some board games with him. Her friends arrive, Gina and Lauren. So we get the introduction to the charcuterie board. In confessional, Becca says she's so excited that all her friends are there and they're all getting along. It feels really great. So we get the splitting up of the couple. Austin and Becca's friends go outside to talk. As Becca's friends are leaving, one of her friends kisses her on the mouth. Are you that friends with anyone?
Wait, I didn't see that.
It's like a little peck on the lips. It was like, oh.
It wasn't like the side?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, now I'm so curious. What?
It was weird. I was like, that's very familiar.
Y'all are close.
Y'all are very close. How
Right.
close?
Yeah, no, I cannot say that me and my friends do that.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird.
Right.
But yeah, Austin is outside with Becca's friends. He's like, so what do I need to know about Becca? How do I avoid being one of her exes? One of her friends says, well, it's all about open communication. You discuss issues right away because Becca has been with men in the past that don't do that. And, it would eat away at her, not being able to discuss the important issues. We go to Becca and Austin's friend. He tells her, Austin can be really tough enough to crack. Becca's like, well, I haven't really experienced that. He's been pretty open, and it feels like we're building a really solid friendship right now, which is very important. He asks her, so is there anything you haven't got from him? She says,
That
well,
was a little alarming to me for her to say that, though, that we're
which part?
building a solid friendship. Because
Well, I think that's
yes,
important.
it is. It is very
Yeah.
important. But when it seems like, I don't know, she's clear of the friend zone for him.
I mean, they're making out all the friggin' time. It's not like they're stuck in the Claire and Cameron
I
friend
mean,
zone.
they're giving pecs. When are we seeing them making out?
Oh, you. All right, Pastor Cal. You want to see some action? Okay, I understand. I get it.
No.
You want to see some tongue?
Just...
You want to see some spit swapping? All right, jeez.
I'm just saying.
Do it. No, do it longer. Kiss longer. Oh yeah, let me see that.
I think I don't know. It just felt, I don't know, what's the word? When people, like, when there's hidden meaning, not coded, but like I felt like her saying, yes, we are building a solid friendship. I wonder, is she concerned about their intimacy? Like, I know she says she's taking his lead, but is she concerned?
I think that's a good. I think just the fact that they haven't broached the topic of well, they broached it, but they haven't gone further than probably making out. Well, I don't know that for sure. I don't know how far they've gone. I'm not Pastor Cal. I'm not about to go asking. But the fact they haven't crossed that threshold, maybe I think that is something that's maybe she's trying to like pep herself up. Like we're taking time to build a solid friendship. That's why we haven't had sex.
Yeah, I just watched it and it was a side kiss. It was just that her friend grabbed her face.
Weird.
But her friend went off to the left.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say. You saw what you saw. I saw what I saw. Okay.
Don't make me play this on this podcast. We watched the episode.
Yeah, we just get entranced, like right? Just silence.
Yeah.
As you watch. So Derek is saying, is there anything you haven't gotten from him that that you're waiting for? She says, well, he is very hesitant to discuss big topics right away, but eventually he does come back around and we do discuss them. My question is, why isn't any of that on camera? What do y'all know what you're here for? Like, I don't feel like we've gotten any huge discussions on camera yet. We got some discussion about the religion thing, but just so much we don't seem to be getting.
Right.
But Derek does say, well, I really like how you guys are with each other. You remind me of me and my wife. And, he really loves that for them. Becca says, it's really great how meeting his people validates how great he actually is. Because, she can tell by the people he surrounds himself with that they're great, he's great, and it all tracks together.
We're all great.
They're all fantastic. So yeah, the Austin's outside talking to the friends. He brings up religion again and says, yeah, it's a bit of a hurdle that we have to bring up and we have to kind of jump over. It takes time to jump over it. We change back to Becca and Derek. She says, yes, and Derek says, religion, you say? Because I don't know, I've known this guy for 14 years and it's really never come up with me and him. So maybe it's an excuse he's using to dump you. I don't know. Like, he didn't say that, but that's what it felt like.
That's what he was implying, because he was like, he's like, wait, I've known him forever.
I don't think I've ever heard him even say the word God before. Like, I didn't even know he believed in God.
Right. Because he says himself that he considers his own self an atheist. So he's like, we've never talked about that.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Like, he's cool with me, so I don't know what your problem is.
And it's funny because you can tell how committed Becca is to this, because she, even hearing this, she's like, well, maybe it's something recent that he is like, she is always giving him the benefit of the doubt. You hear that, Orion?
willing to be flexible, willing to be open.
Willing to see the best in him.
Freaking onion. So Becca says, it's something that she's able to be more flexible on because she knows him and she knows that at this point he's not someone that bases how they treat someone off their religious beliefs. So she's flexible on it and she's hoping that in time he will be too. Next up, we get after the party. They're cleaning up. Becca says, it's really good to know that we have good people on both our sides in our lives, that we can all enjoy our friends together because she hasn't always had that in relationships. In a confessional, she does bring up, it's weird that he says he hasn't always been strong in his, that Derek says that Austin has been strong in his faith. She doesn't want to push too hard, but she wants to really focus right now on getting to a better place with intimacy. We close the Becca and Austin chapter with them both agreeing to do a friends party soon. They high five and kiss, and end of Austin and Becca. I mean, really, a really nothing episode for them. Really, I felt like we treaded over the same kind of topics.
Yeah, and even next week, there wasn't anything memorable that I recall. Austin says he's working through certain things.
I feel like we're just talking about more of the religion stuff and it gets her emotional. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah. She was crying, huh?
Yeah, she was getting emotional. She was getting a little teary. But what are your ratings for like this for Austin and Becca for right now?
Yeah, last week I went down to a 4. I'm actually gonna just keep my 4 because we didn't see any positive movement. They still seem solid. It just feels like it's a storm cloud. Like it's gonna rain, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just gonna pass through and not rain.
Yeah, I've been a 5. I feel like they're both saying that they're still positive. I don't know if I feel that though, that they're both positive. But I'm gonna keep my 5. I'm watching y'all. I'm side-eyeing y'all because I'm ready to take this thing to a 4. I'm ready to flip that card over and make it be a 4. Don't make me. Don't do it. Don't make me do it. I'm watching y'all.
Yeah, I will say he concerns me because
yes, for sure.
We definitely did not peg this couple as the one to not have consummated by now. And I totally understand taking your time, going at a slow pace. But it is drastically different than where they were on the honeymoon. And even Becca just seeming like her answer to her friends was just kind of like, look, I'm respecting his decision. I would not make that decision, but I'm respecting his decision because he is my husband.
We started this episode at day 15. I feel like we skipped a whole week.
Wait, did we really?
Yeah. Well, the episode opens as day 15 of marriage.
Oh.
So we had like a whole 6-7-ish days of no content, really.
Wow. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Because last episode was a day last episode started at day 8.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. A week.
Well, 8 to 15. But I feel like in that last episode we got like a day of content. I don't know.
Yeah. You know how they like to do us.
For sure. All right. So that's our ratings for Becca and Austin. Where are we going next, Aysha?
Let's go ahead and talk about probably the most interesting couple of this episode. Surprisingly.
I would say yeah. Yeah, I would say that.
They are, they haven't won that title yet, but like we said, that they keep competing for who can have the most drama. So this week, the most drama is definitely Emily and Brennan. Yep. Yeah, it was day 15. That's weird. Okay. I'm not trying to fact check you. I'm just
it feels like you are.
I'm keeping this episode and running everything back.
First the kiss, now the days. Wow, my gosh. That Jason,
like,
he doesn't know anything.
One more time.
Let me make sure. He don't know nothing. Let me make sure.
Jason don't know what he's talking about. So we get their own, like, they're recording themselves, just like the selfie camera, the selfie video, and of each of them because they're at their own places. So he's talking about how he has decided to move in with Emily tomorrow. And she's like, on her side, she's like, TGIF, like we're moving in. And it definitely looks like someone said, Brennan, you record this video or you're out.
I'm so happy to be moving in with Emily tomorrow. I'm definitely not being held against my will by Montre to make this video. Please help me.
There was no life behind those eyes.
I mean, but is there ever? Unless he's getting one of his like Brennan
unless he has on
rages.
that blonde wig.
Yeah, when he's chilly, like oh gosh.
So Emily meets up with her friend Sophie, which is kind of different to the format of this episode because she's meeting with another friend that wasn't going to be at the party.
Mm-hmm.
And so she tells Sophie, like, the wedding was amazing. He was really into her the first night. Like, he told her that. And then things took a turn at the end of the honeymoon. And so she's realizing now, like, he's having trouble opening up. She feels like she's carrying the conversation. And she's starting to get upset because she feels like he should be doing better, like, for the both of them. And Sophie's like, well, you know, like, just continue being patient with him, like, give him space to open up and communicate. What are you gonna
Sophie,
say?
like a typical MAFS friend, gives no value of anything. Just says, well, be patient. Okay, thanks.
This is Sophie's value add here. This is Lauren's sister-in-law's value add.
Yes, it's a vast difference.
Vast difference.
Boy, be patient. Gee, thanks to your sage wisdom. Why did I understand we're hurting for content. Why did I need this in my episode?
I saw a meme the other day. It was like my friend frantically looking for their keys and then me on the couch. They got to be here somewhere.
What a big help you are.
But Emily says she thinks moving in will help, but she does need to see some effort. Yes, girl. We all need to see that effort. And so they're moving in, and she like brings her stuff up, and he does help. This first thing he helps bring in, which is like a rolly cart, but drops it. So she's like, "No, all the stuff I folded.
You can pick it up. You're good, right? I've done enough."
So she's struggling to pick her stuff up, and then we notice he's only brought in like 2 bags. She's bringing in, he says 18. She just keeps making trips, and she's like, she just has way more stuff than he does, and he said he had about 2 things. It's very overwhelming. He hopes living together is like going to help them grow closer, blah 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 blah, because he already committed to not getting divorced. And so it's just this montage of her going back, coming back and him standing in the kitchen like, wow, you got a lot of stuff.
Just like dumb grin on his face and just like scoffing at everything. And
yes.
Emily brings up on after party. She says, I bought toilet paper, ketchup, groceries, basically, Brendan. Like, she's bringing in groceries for y'all to have. Like,
yeah, like
I don't like
things you need to live.
Right. As Emily said, they had nothing in their apartment. So she's bringing in things to make the apartment in a house
home,
that you live in. Like, you want something to wipe your butt with, Brendan? I bought that for you. Don't complain that I'm bringing you the necessities.
And the thought did cross my mind. Like, the second time we saw her go back, I was like, why are we watching him watch her just bring stuff at the end? Like, what?
I honestly didn't catch it. I didn't catch on to it until it was mentioned later at the party. And I was like, oh.
I know. Yeah. Like, this is weird that he's just watching her bring these things in. No, do you need a hand? It'd be one thing if he asked her and she's like, no, I got it.
Yeah, usually, that definitely did not happen, apparently.
Yes. Yes, we'll get to why it didn't happen, his reasoning. So they go to a costume shop to prepare for the party, and they're trying to think of a theme. And he was like, well, what if we do wigs? And so It's like, okay. Then he proceeds to like shoot down every wig option that she gives him. Until
I don't
he's
know if I thought this was the most fun we've ever seen Brennan have. Like
Mhm.
he was having a great time with these wigs.
Mhm.
Like, okay, Brennan. And so the vibe I'm getting from Brennan at this point is he's like, well, I guess I got to make it look like I'm, at least trying a little bit. It
Mhm.
seems forced. It seems, I'm here. I might as well act like I'm having a good time.
Right.
And then just you catch every now and then, just right under the surface, is a tension and a rage within Brennan.
Mhm. And so she tells him she now understands why they pressed him to move in right away. Because at first she was kind of like, okay, it's fine. But now she sees like, okay, this is going to be beneficial for us. And she's like, he's like, well, I'm glad you trusted me to figure it out.
I'm happy I moved in because too much time apart isn't good.
Too much time apart isn't
Isn't
good.
good.
As he reads Montreux's cue cards.
Yes.
Um, so they make it home. He puts on a blonde wig and then
Whoa!
I'll let you have it.
Who am I? I'm Jimmy. Wow, I want to really catch a wave. I said, this guy. First of all, you don't want to open up on camera about your emotions, but you do this dumb stuff. This is fine. I think he thinks that he thought he was being like a comedic genius in this moment.
Yes.
That he was like, yeah. And he goes to the bedroom. He's like, I think I'm gonna take this wig off. And he's like, what happened? I blacked out for the last 10 minutes. You're not funny, Brandon. You're just not.
He's
Don't try.
so funny.
Maybe if he was not such a D-bag in the lead up to this, we could have given him some grace and given him like said, oh, that was kind of funny, but you really just
Honestly,
tainted us.
Imagine put Cameron in those shoes. I would have been cracking up.
Yeah. But no, because we know who you are, we know your character. It's not funny. Let Clint have done that last season. We'd have been on the floor laughing. Women would have been throwing their panties at the TV if Clint had done anything like that last season.
You always got to take it to the extreme.
But Brennan, because he's a douchebag, we're just like, no, not funny.
Right.
Nice try.
So, yeah, they decide on their wigs. He's doing this blonde wig that's like short hair, but length of a surfer, I guess. And she's doing like a long red wig. And apparently they brought wigs for their guests too. I thought it was like a bring your own wig situation, but they brought wigs for everyone.
They bought a ton, complete with the wig caps to put over your real hair. I was like, wow, that's detailed. Like right. I just would have thought it was like some things you just flop on the top of your head and that'd be it. But they got a wig caps and everything. I was like, dang. There
is 0% chance I could ever throw a party and be like, oh, you're coming over for a party, you're about to be on TV, and then throw this wig cap on to the hair that you just styled for hours.
Ruin all of your hair as soon as you leave this party. I'd have walked in and be like, what is it? Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? Oh, I gotta go. My wife's calling me. It's an emergency at home. I gotta bounce.
Right. So her friends arrive, who we do find out is Alex and Kiara,
yeah.
Or Kiara. So her friends arrive, and they're like getting to know Brennan, and he's like, oh yeah, like I brought 2 things. She brought like 18 things. And then wait, what's her name? Alex?
Yeah, Alex.
Alex is like, okay.
So what? Why did you bring 2 things, Brennan?
Yeah. She's like, so why did you only bring 2 things? Which was like, as a friend, you are looking for things like that. Like you're looking for red flags.
Yes, 100%. But when Alex walked into the door, I said, Alex is a troublemaker. Alex got the look of a troublemaker. She's short and she's feisty.
Yes. She is the type of friend, though, that you need in your corner, because she's going to say things Emily's not going to say. She's going to peep things Emily's not going to peep.
Listen, she's better than the friend that S-talked Emily throughout the whole pre lead up to the wedding.
Yes. Emily just has one extreme or the other. Friends that talk about her or friends that they're going to ride out for her. Like willing to they're like the only way out's in a box. That's over here on the right side. The other side is Emily better be lucky I'm her friend. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
So yeah, she peeps that. Why did you only bring 2 things? Like, are you really moving in here? Like, that's my concern, is basically what Alex is saying. And so then he's like, well, that's all I needed. And so his friends arrive, and we find out like these 2 friends that Emily brought they were not at the wedding. So this is their very first time meeting Brennan. And then they're all choosing their wigs. They're all putting on their wig caps. They choose their wigs. And then we get a confessional from Alex and Kiera. And Alex is like, yeah, Emily's one of our best friends.
Best friends.
You're like, we can't even cut that down because she didn't finish the word yet.
She's thrown her whole self into this.
They like cut it just so it could be short enough for the episode. And
Yeah.
Emily's like one of our best friends. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they decide to go outside with him. And meanwhile, you had his friends go with her to like the apartment, like lobby or whatever. So I'll take care of that first because that was not as interesting. So she says like, it's what was the first thing she said about that?
She says it felt like an interrogation as she's like sitting across from his buddies. Feels like an interrogation.
And she says she hasn't had any reservations about this until this week. Just because of like, you know, the moving into or like his inability to like open up. And so I don't feel like his friends got much out of her.
No, not at all.
Or vice versa.
Compare that to what's happening outside with Brennan.
Exactly. Because the way more interesting situation was going on outside with Alex. I wrote all of my notes because I didn't realize I didn't know their names. But yeah. So what color was
Alex was pink. Alex was pink wig.
Yes.
Probably looked red or something to you.
No, it looked pink.
And the other one was like lime green.
Okay. I said green. Okay.
Pink,
I was like, is
pink
this
wig
yellow?
was
It's like a highlighter.
Pink wig was the leader of the Inquisition.
Yes. Pink wig was the leader. So we'll go with that. Pink wig is Alex. Green wig was Kiera. So they are talking with Brennan. And you're like, okay, so, you know, hopefully we can get to know you and we could put Jimmy aside. He's like, it's going to be hard. I don't know if we can put Jimmy aside.
It started hostile because
yes,
he's joking. He's like, I don't know. I'm Jimmy right now. She's like, well, we need to talk to Brennan right now. Okay. We don't want to talk to Jimmy. We want to talk to Brennan. Okay.
Yes. It was like very clear. Like we need to get down to the nitty gritty because this Jimmy facade, like that's first. They're like us. That's not funny.
No. She just stood up and snatched him off his hands. Like,
right,
you're Brennan. Be Brennan.
So they ask him about himself, like why did he do this? Like why is he here? And he said he was just going on a lot of dates that weren't going anywhere, and realized something was missing. And so then
everything the producers told him to say.
Yeah.
I have been
like,
dating.
oh.
I have been dating. Oh, I've been dating for a long time. Yeah, he had dating. He had the earpiece that Dr. Pia had last episode.
Yeah.
I've been dating for a long time, and something was missing.
And I knew that the experts would pick someone who would balance me out.
That is why I am here.
Married at First Sight is the best show in the world. So he's like, he was looking for something that was missing. They're like, oh, what was missing? And so that he's like a partner to like do stuff with. And Alex is like, well, Pink Wig. She's like, I noticed like Emily is very supportive. She's like the type of person to be your backbone. But are you really being her backbone? Like, are you doing that for her?
Are you willing to be her backbone, Brennan?
He's like, well, like, I give more than I receive. And it's because I like to give. I don't give to receive, but I give more than I receive. And I plan to do that for her.
You plan? Sir, this is
day
day 7. This is day 17. Okay. When are you gonna get on that? Day like 79, like, you know what? I'm gonna take you out. I'll be nice to you now.
The green wig goes, okay, I'm just gonna ask you, did you help her move her stuff upstairs? He says, this man says,
Ooh.
You gotta understand. If this was real life, I'd 100% help her move. Are you in make-believe land?
I said, what? Huh?
What are you talking about? If
My
this is
jaw
real
dropped.
life.
I said, real life? Are you confused? Have you bumped your head? Did you think this was a like sitcom that you were in? This was a dramatic like script thing? Is that what you think? He's
playing a part.
Right. Like, what are you talking about? Well, if she was my real wife. Sir, you are legally bound to this person. You legally married them. This is your real wife.
If this were real life,
I wish
I would have helped her.
Because they cut him off. I wish they would let him finish his whole thing. I wanted to hear more of the rationale. I mean, because, okay, first of all, if this was real, like, he talks about her like she's one of my cast members. She's one of my castmates on the show. So,
Mm-hmm.
But just as a normal man that sees any type of woman, not even just struggling, but having a lot of things to do, just be like, hey, let me help you out with that. Just not even, okay, I'm not even going to make it a man-woman thing. Just a friend. You're like, hey, let me help you with some of that stuff. Like, because you got a lot of stuff going on. He not even consider her a friend. She's just someone that he's gotten stuck with that is here.
I couldn't believe it. Man. If this were real life, what is this, Brennan? What is this to you?
She goes, that's Ezra life. That's Ezra wife.
You guys got married.
Oh my gosh. He deserved every single thing that came his way after that. That's my thing. Like, okay, that set it off for me. Yeah, did the two ladies come in hot? Yeah, for sure they did. And later in this whole argument conversation, they get in the weeds, right? Like, I can't defend everything they did. They
lost the plot.
But yes, they lost the plot. Trying to grasp for straws at something to really pick on him about. But after that, if this was a real life comment, like, no.
Yeah, I couldn't. I just because nothing makes sense. It's like, oh, if the cameras weren't here, I would do this. It's like, well, no, you signed up for this show where
you want to make yourself look like a douchebag on TV,
right?
I'm confused.
He's playing the role of jerk.
Yeah. I thought that was my role. Is this not a dramatic like a drama show? Like what? A reality show?
Maybe that's why you
Wait, hold up. So that marriage was real? No one y'all told me this. Y'all told me this was an improv exercise.
Not even. Maybe that's why he was so quiet last episode, because he didn't have his lines.
Yeah, I was waiting for a script, y'all. Like, what's up?
It's like, I'm not going to speak if I don't have a script. I'm just I'm not going to speak out of turn.
Oh man, Brennan.
What if this were real life? Oh, ooh. I couldn't believe he uttered those words. So Pink Wig's like, look, this is real life. Y'all got married. I am a bit worried and upset, to be honest. They talk about she deserves the world, and they're not so sure he's going to give that to her. And they're like, dude, I don't want to call you out.
Yeah, I don't want to like call you like out or anything like that. Like, I don't want to do
But
that.
yeah, they're like, Emily was preparing everything and you weren't helping at all. Like she was doing everything. He's like, I didn't pull anything out of the oven. He's like, I pulled
This
everything out of the oven.
this
She's
is
like,
where
yeah, but you didn't set everything out on the spread.
this is where it started going left for Pink and Green Wig. It's like, oh no, here we go. They were trying to find anything to really use against this man because they don't know this man at all. So they're using this limited interaction they got with him, like she put everything on the platter and you did nothing. He's like, I preheated the oven, put them all in the oven, and then I took it all out of the oven. What are you talking about? And then we're gonna flashback of him taking some out of the oven.
Taking it out of the
You're like, all right, y'all. This time Brendan was in the right. Okay.
Right. Because that was not a good point to bring up.
No, not at all.
That
Not at
was
all.
like
They were grasping at straws.
irrelevant evidence. And so Brendan says, I'm at a loss. He's like, so all the setup that we did before y'all got here doesn't apply. And she's like, I'm just making an example out of
Like,
plating everything, and
She's
you
like,
not helping.
you're thinking about it too deep. She's trying to backpedal now. She's like, you're thinking about it
Yes.
too deep. You're thinking about it too deep. But just
You're-
an example.
Brennan, you're being too literal.
Yeah. I didn't mean for real.
So he's like, look, I feel like y'all are attacking rather than trying to understand me. And then Pink Hair goes, at the end of the day, there's more that goes into this. But, I know there's more that goes into this. But why did you get married? And then Green Hair goes, you've made it miserable to film.
Oh, and that set him off.
Yes. He goes, really? That's what she told you?
Oh,
And
oh,
so I was like,
oh, that's what she said. Oh, I was like, oh.
Right.
I said, it took them aback and it took me aback. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I was like,
And the
oh,
look on
wait.
their faces was like, oh, whoa, we hit a nerve.
Right. That's when you, clearly, because let's address this. Emily has clearly given them the 411,
Oh, yeah.
right? She's updated them.
Yes, every single
The
day.
problem is she tried to backtrack on After Party and say that she didn't tell them, like only told them a little bit. Girl, own it. We know who wouldn't tell their friends the update on what's going on.
She said, I didn't tell them everything. And then she proceeds to tell us what she told them, which was everything.
Was everything?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like Greenwig couldn't hold it in. You make it miserable to film. That just came out like word vomit. Like you weren't supposed to know that. Because when you tell friends stuff, they need to know that they're not supposed to know that when it comes to stuff like this. She couldn't hold it in. And so he's like, okay, Emily told y'all that. And so that's why you're coming at me like this. And then they were like, no, she didn't say that to us. But you're married to one of them, our best friends. So who are you? Why are you here? He's like, what answer? He's like, what answer are you looking for? He's like, I'm here because I told you I'm here because I felt like something was missing. And Green Hair was like, are you even emotionally ready to open up? He's like, look, I feel like I've done a decent job at this and we've made a lot of progress. I'm not perfect. And Green Hair is like, look, I think you have good intentions, but it doesn't feel like you have the emotional capacity. He's like, oh, so I should just quit now? I should just quit now, huh? And he's like, they're like, your reactions are so wild to me.
Y'all are both parties here are wild. Okay? Let's say that. Like both of y'all are in the wrong. Everyone here is not doing anything right. I don't know if I don't know what hour we are to this party or how much y'all have had to drink, but y'all are both all in the wrong here.
Yeah. He's like, I'm still here. And then Pink Hair says, buy a string.
Buy a string.
He's like, look, saying things like that. He's like, I'm just sitting here taking shots for what? And he's like, I don't know you. So she's like, yeah, well, I feel like you're being resistant to getting to know us. And like, you're just being resistant and emotionally guarded. So I'm concerned.
Dude, like, I'm concerned.
Like, this would have been a solid argument from them had they not gone on the petty examples of the food preparation.
Yes.
Moving, that's enough. That even if they were to bring up him being his delay in wanting to move in together. That's fair for them to know as her best friends. That would have been okay to bring up, because at least he would have understood. Maybe he would have understood why they knew that. But to talk about you didn't get anything. You did not help put the platter together. Y'all, you messed up your point.
They let him fall into his own trap, and they couldn't let it be enough. They had to keep going in. But see, you get too greedy, and this is what happens. You end up backpedaling and not making any sense. Let me just back out the door like I didn't say that.
Just take a step all the way back. I messed up. Wait, cut.
Can we do that over again? Need no take of that.
Brennan was like, I do not remember this being in the script.
Brennan, that was okay, but just do another take. Just this time just for fun. Just do something wild.
I was surprised he stuck around as long as he did, though. Like, he strikes me as the walk away type.
Yeah, but I think he thought in that moment he was in the right, so he was having a good time, quote unquote, defending himself or whatever he says he's trying to do.
Yeah. So that's them at the party. After Emily and Brennan debrief, and he's like, your friends came at me unfairly. They questioned my drive. He said they called it like being defensive, but all I was doing was standing up for myself. And then Emily's like, I'm really sorry that they did that. Like, she was like, but I do know that they were doing that because they care about me, but I'm sorry that it came off in a bad way. And so he's smiling. He really liked this response from Emily, because he was like,
girl, you stay have my back even when I'm dead ass wrong. That's the kind of girl I like.
You saw this little twinkle in his eye that hasn't been there. It was like life creeping in. I could
walk all over this girl. She might be a keeper.
He was so happy that she apologized on there, and then he was like, "Oh, you don't have to apologize," but that's why you're happy, because she did.
I do like how you said, "Well, I had to defend myself," but they called it being defensive. Sir, do you know what you just said? Okay.
Oh my God, he said he was just standing up for himself and his marriage. And then
you weren't. You were not set up for your marriage. You were set up for yourself. You stood down for your marriage, saying, if this is real life, that's not set up for your marriage. What are you talking about?
He says Emily was very supportive, and he appreciates her having his back.
Listen, next week we're getting a battle royale.
Why is he trying to overtalk Dr. Pia?
That's who he is. That's who this man is. If y'all haven't listen, I'm worried as well about these temper tantrums that he throws. These moments of anger that he has. It's concerning to me for multiple reasons.
He's gonna get mad again next week at Emily, and then there's having a sit down with Dr. Pia, and he's like trying to talk to her. And Dr. P was like, no, let Emily talk to me. I want Emily to address me. And he keeps talking. And Dr. P was like, can you shut up? Yes. Basically, she didn't say that. She was thinking it.
Pia, bring the real Pia out. We saw it a little bit in that Lorna Ryan. Girl. Bring her out. Take off the earrings. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Let's go.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Oof.
What are you thinking? 1 to 5, 1 being they're going to be together by the reunion, 5 being they will not.
It's got to be a 1. I mean, it's a bottom of the barrel 1. It's a real life 1. In real life, it's a 1.
Pepper kicked the door just now. I was like, what just happened? I agree. I also will give them a 1 because it's not going up for Brennan. No. He just continues to, what is wrong with it?
He just keeps digging more holes for himself.
Yes. What you mad about next week? Why are you mad?
You see why I'm so aggravated?
Right.
Sir.
Oh my gosh.
Man. All right. So last but not least, Double C, Claire and Cameron. Here we go. We opened in on them we're kind of checking in on them with their daily routine. We're waking up in the morning, getting ready for their daytime routines. Claire says, the longer we're together, the more comfortable it will be. And I feel like attraction can grow from there. Cameron's like, attraction need to have grown 6 days ago. Okay, I'm through waiting around. It's basically Cameron's posture by the end of this episode. Claire does go to visit Cam at work. She's like, I'm going to go visit Cam at work and bring him something, a nice surprise treat, something yummy. She comes to his shop and she's brought him half of a sandwich that she says she ate the other half and it was bomb. Okay.
Why would she do this?
All right. So she's at the shop. Now, I must say, this whole episode, we talk a lot about people coming on the show for the wrong reasons, for clout, for advertising themselves. Cameron, I think, has had the most advertising of himself at his bike shop that anyone else have ever seen in the history of MAFS. We're at his bike shop with his little work uniform that has the name of the company on it.
Broken Carbon.
This podcast brought to you by Broken Carbon. And then later in the episode, he's wearing the shirt for his company
at the party.
The whole episode. Like, dang, talk about self-promotion. But yes, Claire.
Yeah, my question about that, since we're talking about it, you're at home. You don't have nothing else you can wear for the party.
He at home on camera, Asia. Okay, that's what matters. He said, "Let me change out of this outfit and get into my promotional outfit." Right. Literally, that's what he did.
I was appalled.
But he's showing Claire around the workshop, around his little shop. And of course, Claire, because we saw this on the honeymoon too, where she kind of puts down his profession a little bit. She's like, so, yeah, this is nice, but do you ever get bored doing this? He's like, well, actually, it's like being a surgeon. No, each repair is different. He says he's one of 5 experts in carbon fiber bicycle repair in the country.
Both his degrees in carbon fiber.
I said, does more than 5 people want to be an expert in carbon fiber? Like, this is a niche thing.
Okay, Claire.
I mean, I'm just saying. And then she goes, yeah, you can do it, but are you passionate about it? Again, it's like, yes, girl, I'm passionate about it. I have a freaking shop for it. I'm passionate.
Can she please take off her therapist hat? No, like she even talked about it on After Party. She's like, I know, like, she's like, this is what I do for a living. I'm a therapist. So that's why I asked him, blah, blah. No, because that's what you do for a living. Can you separate that? Because no one wants to be in therapy for 24/7.
No,
like
she can't.
That's how it feels with her line of questioning, with how she talks to him, how she digs. Like, this is her getting to know him, right? Mm-hmm. Is asking him, but it's like, there's that, I'm trying to get you to think, because I'm thinking you're not passionate about it. So you may be good at it, but is there a passion there? It's just like I want something better for you. Like, stop. Just genuinely get to know him. Take that hat off, and then maybe you can really get like, it took all of this for her to see that how passionate he was. It shouldn't have taken a full, like, on the job, come to work, like, bring your wife to work day to realize that.
Yeah, and maybe this is a problem with her, past relationships as well. You have to get past you have to first graduate from being a client of Claire's into being a romantic partner. Like, she has to therapize you first, and then she can get to the intimacy and being a partner piece of it. And so, he tells her, all right, listen, you can put on these safety glasses, put on my little work coat. We're going to put you to work. So she helps him repair a bike. I don't know what exactly they're doing. They're taking the whole thing apart and dropping stuff. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Putting it back together.
When Cameron was working, I was watching this with my wife. She's like, oh, okay, Cameron, looking hot, repairing the bicycle. I was like, excuse me? What?
Look at him all passionate.
Yeah. I said, huh? You about to go move to New Zealand or something? What's going on? Like, oh gosh. But yeah, so we leave the bike shop. We're now getting prepared for the party. We find out they're having a anything but the cup party, where you have to drink out of anything that is not a cup. She's getting everything together. She's like, yeah, I'm just getting everything together while he gets the food. That's a foreshadowing to him coming home with no food. And she is pissed. She's like, you had one job to get the food. That's all you had to do. He says, listen, we live in downtown Denver. There's places to get food. Like, relax.
They are on two different extremes right now. Like she's treating this like a New Year's Eve party, right? Like it's biggest event of the year that she's hosting at her house. Yes, it's just a get together for like 3 people, but
that's 2 hours away, and you want me to get food for her.
But he is treating this like, oh, I just have a friend coming over to chill and play video games. Like we could just grab something. It's easy.
I was on Cameron's side. Do you know what DoorDash is? You can get something here in less than an hour.
He was too casual.
No, come on now.
Yes.
So in a confessional, he says, the fact that I didn't bring food is stressing her, and I hope it doesn't ruin the mood. He finds a place to get food from. He's like, oh, this is empanada place. We can get food from there. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. It says, well,
but her passive aggressiveness in even choosing that, he's like, oh, there's an empanada place. She's like, well, is that where we're eating?
Is that what you're getting?
Are you going to order it?
You're going to finally order the food, like I told you 5 hours ago. And she said she wants him to order now. He says, okay, fine, I'll order now. He orders the food. He's like, oh, I have to get the food now. There's no thing for me to do it later. I said, first of all, I feel like both of y'all, you got some money. Is this really going to empty y'all's pockets if you just order a different thing of food later? Like, I think you take the loss on this one food order and then just order different food. But that's not what happens. But she keeps nagging him about. She asks him like, so what's your anything but the cup? He's like, I don't know. I just thought I grabbed something. She's like, why are you so unprepared?
That was unnecessarily annoying. Because girl, you can just grab something in the house. Would you want him to go buy something else to use as a cup?
And it doesn't stop there, because she's like, so you said your friend's not coming. What's up with that? He says, well, I had some friends coming, but they got tied up getting ready for a trip, so they can't come. She said in confessional, Cam's like, I think she's quite stressed, but I think it has less to do with the food and more with me meeting her friends. I think that's what the stress is about. Oh, so I mean, this whole friends thing? Do you think it's? I think they canceled last minute, and I don't think it's that easy to get other friends to like come be on camera, sign releases, and all that stuff. Did you think this was like a big red flag, like Claire seemed to think it was?
Yes. But if they were like a healthy, like functioning couple, like I think for Claire, the list is just growing at this point of things. So it for her, it's like, this is just one other thing. But I do think if they had chemistry, if they were making progress in a relationship, this is still a red flag, because it's like, all right, his family already isn't here. Like, it's the extension or his godparents, right? And then she hasn't met other friends, and so it's important to see what the other person's like, who their people are, right? And this is the one opportunity too to see, like, to meet his friends, to learn more about him, because she's already struggling to learn so much about him. And so, but it's a two-way street here, where they're like, she's not engaged enough to ask enough about him, but she's like her meeting his friends would be like, okay, if I can meet his friends, maybe that'll help me understand him better. And so now that she's not, it's like, oh well, okay, so much for that.
So we're right up at the party, right before it's all happening. Claire's again nagging about the food, like, did you even put the food in the oven like I told you to? He's like, yeah, I did, but it was getting dried out, so I turned off the oven. She's like, oh, okay, well, I guess now I can admit that I should have waited to get the food, and now it's 5 hours old.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong. At least she can admit that she was wrong, right? Like, give that to her.
I did appreciate that, but the damage was done, because she was so frustrated.
So we get the friends arriving. One of her friends shows up. She's got a little pitcher she's drinking out of. Claire drinking out of a pot. In a confessional, Claire says, it would really ease her anxiety if her friends like Cameron, so that she at least knows that her friends and Cameron can get along. That would really do a lot for her as far as the anxiety goes. So they're sitting, one of her friends and Claire and Cameron are sitting there kind of bantering, talking. Claire jokes, talking about all her friends are therapists, and the friend, I forgot the friend's name. The friend says, like, literally jokingly, like, "Oh yeah, I'm a therapist. I'm going to ask you probing questions like, oh, how's your relationship with your dad?" Cam's like, "Distant." And they ask him, and so at that point, it's like, well, we have to get kind of dig deeper into this. She's like, "Does your dad know you're on the show?" He's like, "No. What would you tell a man on his deathbed?" It's like, oh my gosh. Like Claire literally gasped. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So immediately the mood gets very somber. It's like everyone was joking around and Cam just turned this into, just something that it shouldn't have been.
It was the question in itself was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And Cameron did not read that
Not at
as
all.
because he could have easily taken that opportunity to be like, "Oh, haha, moving on," right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he does answer was like a whoa, 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 whoa. And the fact that she didn't know, and the fact that they flashed back to him saying, her saying, "Do your parents know?" He's like, "Okay, well, yes. So we should."
So the way that he said that, I said, first of all, okay, he didn't literally say that they knew. He was like,
Right.
"Yeah, well, we're going
It
to
was
go
like
back
a
to New
filler.
Zealand. Yeah, we're going to go back to
Yeah.
New Zealand." And as if like, we're going to go back there to surprise my family with the fact that I got married at first sight. Like that's what he meant, but that's not how Claire took it, I guess. So I don't think it was a lie per
Yeah, because
se.
he didn't say no.
Yeah, he definitely dodged the question, which is a red flag in and of itself. So that's awful. So Claire's like, Claire is trying to take this in a direction like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this, so let me keep going with this. She's like, well, what would he say if he knew? Cam just says, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, oh, like first you bring the mood down and then you don't engage anymore. Like,
Right.
dude, party foul. That's the definition of a party foul.
You just dropped this news in front of mixed company.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you don't know her.
Right.
You felt open enough to share that, and you just met her, and we've known each other for 17 days at this point. And how did I not know that?
How did she not know that? How does that not
I
come
haven't
up?
talked about family.
Right. What are y'all talking about? Nothing, it seems, because that was so weird. So in a confessional, Claire says, it's strange that he brings up something so heavy with someone here when he won't do this in private. And it seems like he doesn't trust me enough to share things like that with me one-on-one. So her other friends show up to kind of break the tension, which was good. They come, she gets some drinks. They ask how it's going. Claire says it's been a wild ride. Cam says, he's been handling her emotions pretty well. He's standoffish in arguments and then comes back and says sorry eventually. Her friend's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like, how'd you do that? So they ask Cam, so Cam, why did you want to be married at first sight? He says, well, I always wanted to be married. He says, I always want to be married. I didn't have a lot of emotional baggage. I'm financially stable. And all that combined made me feel like this is the right time. And, I'm a pretty adventurous guy. So I figured, why not? Which was not a great answer. Like, I'm adventurous. Like, this isn't like skydiving.
I do whatever.
Yeah, this isn't skydiving. It's getting married to someone, like taking up their time and their relationship space. It's not a one-time thing.
His answer, like, yes, he gave he explained, he gave an elaborate answer, but it felt like a why not.
Yeah, it felt like he was reading off a list. It didn't feel like it was anything like emotional about why he was ready to be married.
Yeah.
Because like, well, do you regret it? He says, well, I'll never do it again, but I'm glad I did it this time. There are these moments where Cam says the sweetest things, but it's always sandwiched by some utter nonsense. So we can't really appreciate it.
Yeah, was it her friend? Well, yeah, because they're all her friends. That was like, well, yeah, marriage is for life.
Yeah, like what do you think?
I'm like, did I think that, or did someone actually say that on the show?
Yeah. So because the two friends that came in did not get the memo to not ask about family, they say, well, how's your family handling it, Cameron? He says, well, the ones that know are supportive. Okay, cool. In a confessional, Cameron does say, he knows all her friends are therapists and they're going to try and psychoanalyze him, but it's helpful to get advice outside of his bubble. Now, Cam said this, like, they're going to sit there, going to try to psychoanalyze me. And then he sits down with his friend, with her friends, and immediately acts like he's on a therapist's couch, like without them even
Yes.
prompting. It's like, well, let me tell you everything that's going on.
He's like, I know it's coming.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna lay it all out there. He says, you know, he
Yeah.
gets deeper feelings for her every day. She is hands down the smartest girl that he's ever been with. We get this juxtaposed with Claire and her friend. She says, you know, I really like him. He's educated. We respect each other. He's nice. But I do wonder if that's enough to keep a marriage going. The friend, you know, her friends tell Cam. Well, Cam says Cam again with the opening. He says, well, to be honest with you, to really tell you what's on my mind, I feel like I'm bearing a lot of the emotional struggle in this relationship, and I feel like I'm sinking more than I'm swimming. I said, where did this come from? What are you talking about? And her friend is like, her friend, like me, and probably many of us watching, like, what exactly do you mean when you say that? And
Yeah.
Cam brings up the religion thing. He says, well, I'm open to a partner of any religion, but I do not want to raise my kids religious. What? That's an oxymoron. You not realize that? You're open to having someone with you know, any religion, but you don't
But
want
you
you to
better
raise your
not
kids
try
that
to
way.
raise my child that way.
Right. That
Yeah.
makes no sense. None at all.
Yep.
So Claire brings up the same issue with her friend in their scene, and her friend's like, well, just try to be as open as you can. But yeah, that kid thing where he doesn't want his kids to be raised in your religion, that is tough. You can compromise on a lot of things, but kids is not one you can compromise on
at all. I mean, unless they were choosing not to have kids, which that's not on the table.
Yeah, right. So
So
if that was the option, then yes, go for it.
right.
But the kids thing is what really trips me up with that.
Yes.
So her friends tell Cam, so listen, just don't let that be a roadblock to making things work in the right now. Keep exploring your romantic connection. Really try to lean into this and see where it leads you. We get a confessional from Claire's guy friend. He says, yeah, Cam has a lot of valid and important feelings, but I'm not sure he knows how to express them and wonders how Claire is going to handle that. I said, you hit it on the button, therapist guy, because that is the issue. Communication is this couple's issue because they don't talk about anything. I don't know if Claire is too scared to talk about anything or what the deal is. And Cameron is not offering anything without any prompting. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, yes, all that to say, I don't know if their communication was better, if they would be in a better place, right? They may even have been in Lauren Orion's fate by now because they've gotten more out, right? They would have realized sooner that they're not for each other. Because let's face it, I don't think they're just going to turn it around and be this fairy tale situation.
No.
But I will say it doesn't help. I do think they would at least be good friends if they were better communicating.
For sure. So after the party, after everything's done, Claire does bring up the fact that he dropped, the dad bomb. She says, it really took me by surprise. I was really taken aback, and I just wanted to let you know that. And he just says, okay. He says, well, she asked me, so I told him. Claire says, well, I asked you about your past too. And this is when we get the flashback of him saying and not saying that his parents or his family knew. Talking about going back to New Zealand. So in confessional, he says, I open up in relationships usually, but I'm between a rock and a hard place right now. I really like her. But she has no expression of feeling towards me, no chance of intimacy. So that makes it very hard to open up. So we lead into Claire saying, well, listen, I'll do whatever you feel right now. He says, I don't feel like anything right now. She's okay. I just feel like you don't have the mental energy right now to have this conversation. So we're going to just leave it here. Very, very therapist-y of her. But this is the issue. Cam is, I don't know what game Cam is playing. Cause he's just like, he's not going to offer up any information until she asks the right questions. Like, is everything behind some sort of special lock? Like, you have to say these special words for me to reveal this information.
Well, you didn't ask. Yeah.
Right.
Because with the dad situation, how is she supposed to know unless he wanted her to specifically ask, "How is your dad?" You know?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how close is your dad to being dead?
Oh my gosh, jeez.
Like, but if I was Claire or someone in Claire's shoes, I would keep asking about parents, because if he's being standoffish or flippant about it, that would be a huge red flag to me. I would ask every day. So are you going to tell me anything about your parents now? I feel like
It does seem like Cameron is the type of person that needs direct questions. He's not going to volunteer extra information.
well, Claire does kind of say that on the after party. She says, I have to give him direct communication. He does not
Mm-hmm.
read, nonverbal cues. So I have to give him
Yeah.
direct communication to get what I want. Which I feel like I would have said that, like, okay, dude, what's the deal with your family? What's up? Tell me about your dad. Tell me about your mom. Tell me about your family. I feel like I would
Yeah.
have gone probably less than 2 days with having asked that question.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it hasn't been brought up at this point.
I know it's tough because yeah, it is. I mean, and also interesting observation that we've had this week. I don't know if we talked about it last week. Was the after party experiences and the fact that Cameron has not been on once.
Yeah, well, I
Whereas
mean, Brendan hasn't been on, although he's been asked to be.
he's been on. He went on once and
Yes, he
hasn't
went
been
on
back.
once and has been back,
Yeah.
but he's been asked. But Cameron hasn't been on at all.
Right. So that makes me wonder, like, how is his dad? Has any
okay.
is
He could be
everything okay with
away.
that? Is he back in New Zealand? Like, we don't
Interesting.
know.
Yeah, who knows, man? I just Cam is I think the biggest issue is Cam here. I think Claire, but I do think Claire is being really standoffish. I think it takes a lot for her to get to an intimate place. It's almost like they both know what the other person needs, but they're not willing to give it because they are not those type of people. Like, Cam needs some affection to open up, but Claire needs some emotional connection to get intimate. So, like,
Yeah.
that's where they're really missing each other. That's where they're extremely mismatched, experts. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we didn't think to ask that.
Yeah. So, all that being said, what is your rating for this week?
Whew. Well, I guess it's really not that hard. We've been at a 2. I think with this information, it's going to be hard. Like, communication is already difficult. They're missing each other with the intimacy, like needing the different types. And I think if he is looking for that direct communication like that, Claire's not necessarily willing to give that. She is just using it as a reason, not using it as a reason, but she's finding reasons why they're not going to work out, right? And so it doesn't seem like she's going to go the extra mile to be like, let me put this foot forward to make sure that we don't end up not divorced. And what did you think about her crying on after party?
I mean, her cry was like because she lied. She realized that he lied to her at the wedding about the whole family not knowing or whatever. Which again, I say I don't really take it as a lie. I take it as he dodged the question. But
so
I
like a lie
by
omission.
Yeah, but I think that she took that that he says right before he says we'll go back to New Zealand. That my family knows. So yeah, that was that was rough.
Yeah, I just don't think that there is any hope. So I'm gonna go down to a 1.
Yeah, I'm going scorched earth here. It's a 1. So we have 2 couples out of 3 at a 1. Oh boy, what a great season!
Just episode by episode, we're learning why this season took so long to come out.
But listen, that next episode preview, that was fire though. That was
episode
nice.
10. I mean, what was it? Was it the Houston season? Episode 10 was really good with the retreat.
But with Cam and Claire, it's like it starts. He goes, "I've fallen head over heels," and then near the back end of the preview, he's like screaming at her like, "Do you see a future with me? Do you see a future with me? Do you see a future with me?" Like, what?
I know, that's gonna be really interesting. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't episode 10. It for the Houston season.
Check your notes.
Yeah, I wanted to see because I'm like, is the stuff lining up where it's just like, because hey, what's their names from last season that broke up? Dom and Mac.
Yeah.
They were both done by episode 8 as well as Lauren and Orion. So we're just seeing some consistency across the seasons. Okay. So yes, thank y'all for sticking with us. That was episode 9. We will be back next week to talk about episode 10. Yeah, make sure you go subscribe to our Love at First Sight feed and also join the Facebook group where the password this week is Why Are You Here? You can find that at A Perfect Match Podcast on Facebook. Jason, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
We're wrapping up the Gilded Age over on Post Show Recaps. Season finale is this week. So check me and Marissa Garza out as we break down the end of season 2. Been a very fun time breaking that show down. Been a very fun season. So check me out there. Check me out on some end of the year Post Show Recaps shows. Talking about different things like superheroes and HBO shows. So check me out there as well coming up before the end of the year, of course. Find me on Twitter, JAYR1085. And that's it for me. How about you, Asia?
Yeah, so you can find me at Asia Like Asia. It's AYSHA like ASIA. Go follow the dogs on Malshipu Sisters on TikTok. Give them some love. I need to start posting more TikToks of them, but there's plenty for your consumption out there.
Before we forget, you YouTube people, YouTube watchers, hit those thumbs up. The thumbs up. We did really good 2 weeks ago. We were at almost 200. Now last week we're back down to 100 because I guess I didn't say hit the thumbs up, please. But please, if you're watching, hit the thumbs up. Leave the reviews, all of it. If you really like this podcast, you really love us, just do something really quick and easy to help the podcast out. Get it in front of more viewers, in front of more eyes. Yeah, that's it. That's all. That was my spiel.
Thank you. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next week. Bye.